Wilson is not playing an unrivaled, much like Caitlin Clark's not. But there's been a story surfaced by way of Sports Business Journal that is baffling.
And they're giving good explanations to why, at least for the most part, because they believe that Angel Wilson should have been paid more money than
Wilson recently dropped a shocking revelation after Caitlin Clark was rejected. According to reports, the reigning MVP thought she ought to be paid more than Clark.
Why? Emerald is down bad for Caitlin Clark. And obviously everyone is a bit on bated breath if Caitlin Clark will be one of those people. But no one on bated breath more, it sounds like, than Nafisa Collier, Brianna Stewart, and every investor and person.
In contrast to Clark's muted mic drop, Wilson's announcement featured pyrotechnics confetti and reportedly a higher pay offer.
Angel Wilson is not playing an unrivaled, much like Caitlin Clark's not. But there's been a story surfaced by way of Sports Business Journal that is baffling, and it is getting absolutely crushed right now.
And this is the point at which things heat up. Wilson's camp subtly suggested that she deserved more than Clark since MVPs are expensive. The message was unambiguous. One fan wrote, "I'm worth more." Caitlin Clark chooses to forego fireworks with Wilson's grace. Please give her an Oscar.
No amount of pulling in Kate Martin, Lexi Hull, or agreeing to State Farm sponsorships got the unrivaled lead Caitlin Clark. She's not.
Let's be practical for a moment. Although Wilson has talent, this goes beyond that. It also has to do with legacy and perception. Even if Wilson could be talented, Clark is able to strengthen the fundamentals of sports. Furthermore, the statistics are truthful. Like she's giving away free Beyoncé tickets, Clark draws sizable crowds. However, Wilson's fan following is devoted, but not particularly innovative.
Basketball has really consumed my life for a year, so I feel like it'll be good for me to kind of reflect back on everything that's happened. Like, I feel like I didn't even have time to really reflect on my college career because it ended so fast. And then I came here and was trying to give everything I could to this team and kind of move on and put all that behind me and help this team, get back to the playoffs. So I feel like taking some time to myself and really enjoying that.
It's not being accepted by the basketball community. Wilson's team asserted that she declined for the same reasons as Clark: relaxation, concentration, etc. At a time when Wilson was the center of attention, the timing looks to be a throwback look-at-me moment. It appears that Wilson is not a fan of subtlety. Furthermore, it's ironic that Clark managed the turmoil with poise. Wilson's pick seems to be intended to be dramatic, and this isn't her first headline. Remember how her Nike shoe launch delayed the launches of other players or made it impossible for everyone to win. Even when it's clearly not, Wilson's campaign, which ended like milk after her team's playoff loss, has a way of making everything about her.
I think somebody from Angel Wilson team wholeheartedly thought that she should have got more money than Caitlin Clark. I thought people was lying. But as you can see here, it was very much the truth. The article goes on to say Angel Wilson, Caitlin Clark turned down participating in Unrivaled.
Clark wasn't rejected because of the fanfare. Rather, she let her behavior do the talking. She stated, "I need a break," stressing the importance of taking a vacation from the never-ending grind. Although it was a noble approach, it seems that elegance isn't contagious because A.O. Wilson's own rejection bombshell had to steal the show. Let's talk about Wilson soon after Clark's choice made headlines. Wilson's camp easily released the information that Unrivaled had offered her an even greater deal. And you know what? She said no. The timing of this disclosure was obviously perfectly normal, and followers soon realized that one social media user had nailed it. Clark says no and goes on. Wilson declines and calls for universal praise for his plight.
It appears and Wilson have turned down the historic offers to participate this season. While ESPN reported this afternoon that Clark had decided to pass on the Unrivaled League, then starting January 17th, with sources recently telling SBJ that Clark's offer was about $1 million plus equity.
simply reminded everyone of her unrivaled priorities and the reasons behind her status as the basketball queen. A desperate new three-member Henry League thought they could lure her in with $1 million equity offer, and they practically set up neon lights and a red carpet in her inner circle. Scrolling through Please Join Us. Clark, however, remained calm and said, "Nope." She values her time, health, and sanity, which explains why. There are 3 aspects that Unrivaled's pitch clearly omitted. Unrivaled, meantime, is struggling to hold onto what little credibility they still have after depending on the Caitlyn impact in the hopes that her celebrity may turn their minor league into a large one. It was unsuccessful. Beware of spoilers. She declined when they offered Clark's buddies, brand partners, and probably even her dog's favorite toy. A roster announcement that was as flat as a deflated basketball was the result.
Because of the effort she's had so far this season, she earned her way onto the WNBA All-Star roster, as did Caitlyn Clark. Let's show you the list of ladies who were announced earlier this.
Marketing for the league screamed, "Please, Caitlyn, we need you." And when they remained silent, they made an effort to change the situation by highlighting Wilson's denial. Here's the deal, though. A league that starts with its 2 biggest stars refusing to play will not attract any interest. Why should anyone want to watch if Wilson and Clark are not willing to play? The fans can see the irony. Wilson, however, seemed to be drawn to the drama. Her rejection wasn't a simple choice. It was a sight, and the future already appears dismal for what a few headlines cannot match. Despite all the commotion, Clark made a straightforward and sensible choice. Even when a spectacular deal is offered to her, she isn't scared to say no since she understands how valuable she is. While losing Clark was heartbreaking, the chaos surrounding Wilson's revelation only made things worse. The league now has to prove that it can function without its 2 most famous players. It probably won't, spoiler alert.
Angel Wilson and Caitlyn Clark. We got the final tallies tonight. We had it with them earlier tonight. Michael's going to break that down and tell you who's headed to Phoenix on July 20th here.
It seems that ambitions to reinvent women's basketball are stalling. They had to scramble to find stars who could truly garner attention after their big presentation of a 6-team roster seemed disappointing, because 2 wild card positions were obviously left available for Clark and Wilson, who both rejected the league. In basketball, they also discussed placing all your eggs in one basket and then dropping it. "You're not getting paid more than Clark because you're not moving the needle like she does," said a Reddit member frankly. MVPs are irrelevant to facts. The entire topic has been discussed openly by the community, with many fans considering Wilson's camp's comments superfluous and others endorsing her decision to put the rest first.
About Caitlyn Clark, another near triple-double, but again, she really, for the 2nd straight game, struggled from the field tonight. What did you see?
Well, in our countdown show, the great Carolyn Peck highlighted this, and she was being guarded by Jackie Young, who is another individual who takes meticulous care of her body and is meticulous about the scouting report. One of the toughest on-ball defenders in the league.
To prove her worth, Clark doesn't have to make things up. In the end, her calm assurance sets her apart. Wilson, though, seems to like it. She knows how to stay prominent, even if it means giving away too much, whether it's through shoe releases or lighthearted feuds with NBA players. The A.J. Wilson person. Without their 2 best assets, A'ja Wilson's team claims they are the real losers because she sought more money than Caitlyn Clark. Why should fans participate in the battle of the bombshells if Clark and Wilson aren't interested? Stars are forced to market a fantasy that nobody appears to want to buy. Clark's rejection was all class, but Wilson's had a hint of struggle. There is little doubt that women's basketball teams may decide to focus on settling the off-season drama rather than depending on absent players, since it might just be more captivating than the games itself. AA. Wilson reminded everyone why she has won 2 WNBA MVP awards and may be looking for a 3rd after putting on yet another outstanding performance. She recently delivered yet another masterclass on dominating. Wilson casually attributed her recent achievement to enduring through adversity and having faith in the process when asked about it. As though winning 5 in a row with her team was just another day at the office for defensive advancements. Wilson made it clear that mediocrity is not acceptable to her. Yes, but let's be honest. The league needs to wake up and let the AA Wilson show take over. Despite trying to limit her score, Kelsey Plum also scored a season-high 34 points. Wilson modestly characterized her own performances as just getting the job done, but it's difficult to overlook her season-opening record-breaking 20-point scoring spree. Wilson, a teammate who is always encouraging, showered her with praise, describing Plum as a gym rat who is as dedicated as they come first and last out, which is simply AP's warm-up routine. She asserts that the secret to excellence, a legacy, and a Hall of Fame is constancy. In case anyone has forgotten what she is trying to achieve, Caitlin Clark's struggles against the Aces were acknowledged in the interim. As it happens, Clark saw stars instead of sink buckets as a result of Jackie Young's defense. In unison, they said, "Welcome to the big leagues, rookie." The defense of the AC has resumed operations. Wilson and her team defeated Clark, reminding everyone why they are the reigning champions. As a result, opponents might wish to start reevaluating their strategy. Wilson's leadership ultimately keeps pushing the envelope, and even if it seems like everyone else is fighting for second place for the rest of the season, she is guiding her team, and perhaps the league, to greatness.